Welcome to our Humans of Oseredok interview. Today we're interviewing Olesia, and she is our curator of collections. So first, could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, so I came to Canada in 2006. Um, in 2011, I enrolled in a library and information studies master program, which I found really interesting and stimulating. After my master studies, I worked in the federal government for various organizations dealing with their information management needs. And also, I worked for the Library and Archives Canada, which gave me a lot of great experience. And since moving to Winnipeg in 2018, I was looking for very, rewarding and inspiring and motivating job opportunities. And when I saw that Oseredok was looking for a curator, I was very inspired to apply. And it's about 1 year since I started my work as a curator at Oseredok.
Thank you. So why did you want to work at Oseredok?
Culture and history were always close to my heart, and Oseredok is the unique place where it combines art and history, museum, art gallery, archives, and library. So it combines everything that I'm interested in, plus it's Ukrainian. So it was like a no-brainer for me. That's why I was like very eager to work here.
Yeah, for sure. So how did you first hear about Oseredok?
Well, when I moved to Winnipeg, it struck me as a very Ukrainian city. All the signs where I was like driving from the airport, there were so many signs with Ukrainian names and even in Ukrainian, and I was very impressed. And then I live not too far away from Oseredok, so I saw Oseredok when I was driving by. And maybe in a couple of months since I came to Winnipeg, I visited Oseredok. So that's how I came to know Oseredok.
Okay. So when and how was your first time at Oseredok?
One winter day, we decided to visit Oseredok, me, my husband, and my son. And there was an exhibition in Oseredok at that time. And we also browsed the boutique, and there were some free books to take. So we took maybe 7 books with us. So that was our first, fruitful encounter with Oseredok.
Okay. So what is your favorite event at Oseredok?
At Oseredok. So far, I think it was Christmas fair. Yeah, I like the idea of many people coming together in preparation and anticipation of Christmas. And you know how the variety of assortment that was offered during the Christmas fair and the whole atmosphere of anticipation of Christmas. I like that, and it was kind of even more intense because of this Christmas fair for me. So I think that was my favorite event so far.
For sure. So if this is a different answer, I'm not sure if it is. What is your favorite memory of Oseredok?
One of my fondest memory of Oseredok so far is the volunteer appreciation picnic that was last year, and I really like the atmosphere of people who, from the board of directors, from the committees, staff, volunteers, interns, all kind of spending time together, discussing Oseredok related things, enjoying food and being outdoors. So all of that was possibly one of the most precious memories of Oseredok so far. But I'm just starting with Oseredok, so I believe we'll have much more memories to talk about later on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I remember that was an event that I enjoyed as well, the volunteer appreciation.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you like best about working at Oseredok?
Well, I enjoy immensely the collections that we have. I enjoy walking down the aisles in the museum storage or archival storage and just looking what we have. discovering the collection, because in order to be able to curate collection properly, you have to know it like intimately, what we have, know the situation, know the storage, where everything is located. So also I really like to research about the collection that we have, make like more research into items that potentially are don't have like an extensive provenance. So that's another interesting part of my work. And also I really enjoy the project that we're working now, is creating an online catalog. So basically allowing anyone with internet connection to see our collections within the comfort of their home. So this is I'm very passionate about this, because not too many people can visit Oseredok, because people can be from outside of Winnipeg, outside Canada, or different continents. But with online catalog, everything is possible. They can browse our collections from anywhere. So this is creating this catalog is one of the most rewarding part of the work for me.
For sure. And yeah, you're doing a lot of work with digitizing things
Yes.
here, and I guess making it more accessible to people, like you were saying, because not everybody can come to the physical location. So making the collections accessible is a big part of that.
Yeah.
So why do you continue to commit your time and energy to support Oseredok?
Well, because I believe in the mission, Oseredok's mission to share, promote, preserve, and Ukrainian, Canadian heritage and culture. This is very important for me as an immigrant to Canada. It's so important to have this culture and heritage and be able to, access it, research it, because when you leave your country, in many cases that's it, your country would be the only place where your culture is basically live and vibrant. But in case with Canada, since there are so many Ukrainian people of Ukrainian origin, and people are still coming all the time, so the culture is still alive here, and it's very important to enable it to flourish and to preserve whatever people from the previous generations brought here. So this is like a unique place where the heritage is meeting the live culture, and it's outside of the country of origin of that country's culture. So it's very special.
Yeah, for sure. And you can see how, like you were saying, a lot of the times culture doesn't tend to travel with the people when they're leaving the countries or moving from one country to the next. But we have an interesting case in Canada, especially in Winnipeg, with Ukrainian Canadian culture and how it's kind of formed its unique place in Canadian history, and that idea of Ukrainian Canadian culture as distinct from Ukrainian culture, but also still tied to that,
Yes.
as different people come at different points in time and bring their own aspects of that.
Yes, and there's also important aspect of belonging, and feeling this connection that since you left your country, you still can connect with it.
Yeah.
On another level, and you have this feeling of sense of belonging, which is very important for people who immigrate, so that they feel that their connection with their family and their authenticity is still there.
Yeah, and that community that's there even after you leave where you originally had a community of people who had a similar ethnicity or nationality, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So what unique skills and traits do you bring to this organization?
Well, I have a long experience dealing with information and in any form or shape in medium. So I bring a lot of expertise in terms of digital content and also physical, because I used to work with the physical records, the archival records, digital records within archival setting or just business setting. So also I bring to the table my knowledge of Ukrainian culture, Ukrainian language. I also have a degree in theology. So in this, because the Ukrainian culture is so tightly, interwoven with the religious aspect, so it also gives me ability to understand the cultural, the traditions, the piece of art more. I can read the language, the religion language. So I think the combination of my 2 degrees with the my language and also the ties to the community here in Canada and back in Ukraine also give me additional ability to serve Oseredok in the best possible way.
What is the power of Ukrainians?
So there is this Latin saying, per aspera ad astra, and it means that you go through the thorns to the stars. And that's what Ukrainians are really good in. They are, they are aiming high, and there are so many obstacles on our way to our, independence and sovereignty. But we are not discouraged by the, the difficult path that we have to go through to reach to our goal. So I think Ukrainians are really good in, if you have a defeat, if you are defeated, you kind of collect yourself back together and you start, the fight, with aiming to your big dream of the sovereignty and the independence of your country. So I think we had proven this over the centuries that we, whatever happens, we collect ourselves together and we still, aim to our dreams. And I think this is one of the strongest kind of characteristics of Ukrainians. And we are proving it, unfortunately, in this day and age. But yes, I believe that, the truth will be always on the side of the innocent and people who are living by truth. So, yeah.
What have you learned during your time here?
Oh, I'm learning so much every day. Yeah, and this is another, another thing why I like to be in Oseredok, because there is a learning opportunity all the time. So basically learning and researching is part of my work. There are so many different aspects of managing collections within all 4 different environments that it requires research all the time. And plus the standards are changing. Preservation standards are changing with new technologies. Also the digital aspect and our readiness of Oseredok to accept electronic documents as archival materials is something that has to be researched. And also we have to be, keep track of the changes of the new implementations or new possibilities to improve our either digital preservation or analog preservation. So there's always something to learn. And this is the beautiful part of working as a curator of collections here at Oseredok. You always get to develop your, to improve your knowledge, develop your skills, and this is very rewarding for me.
Yeah, for sure. So just to add on to that, what does a day in the life look like for you? I mean, it might not be the same day to day, but typically what does the day look like for you at Oseredok?
Yes, so typically I am supervising 2 or 3 projects. So every day I will check on the project status. I will talk to the people who are working on the project about the progress, their questions, something that is unclear to them. So I'm always checking on the projects. Also, I try to learn about the collections every day. So I'm either browsing, old documents about the collections, committee meetings to read what decisions were made, or some procedural documents. And then it brings me to another, question of should I revise it? Because all the policies, guidelines have to be revised every 5 years. And some of them are at that point. So that's kind of the trigger for me to revise some of the existing policies or guidelines. Also, I'm receiving frequently research requests So basically, I would have to do some research into our collection, whether we have some information on that request or not.
Okay.
Also, just day-to-day things, checking on things, and every day in Oseredok, I would say, is different. Yeah. There are not two the same days. For example, if you have a big shipment of, art, that's basically your entire day. You are dealing with that. And so it's another, beautiful thing about Oseredok, that you are never bored. There are always something interesting happening. Most of my days are not routine days. Most of my days, something requires my attention that I have to deal with it, almost immediately. So this, it adds on to, like this adrenaline. So it's not boring.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think for me, just a small glimpse of that, obviously, because I'm not working here as much as you do, but I can definitely attest to the fact that Oseredok has something new every day to work on, and that's part of what makes it such an engaging place to work at, and it helps motivate you to come to work every day. It's that idea of you never know what's next on the table, even though you have, like you said, your projects that you work on, that sort of thing. You never know when something new will come up for you to work on.
Yes, and also I'm taking care of the 4 collections, so I try to look into each collection, into the needs of each collection, like every day, so that I'm not neglecting one collection over the other. But there are some periods of time when one collection has more demand, so I'm like more focusing on that one. But I'm trying to spend enough time on each collection so I get to know each collection and it's not being neglected.
Okay, so I just have a question that came up with that. So when we're talking about the volume of our collections and what we really have, what are some numbers, I guess, that you would say in quantifying what exactly we have at Oseredok? Like I think our books, we have like 6,000 books, is it?
No, it's more like 40,000.
40,000, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I was well under that, okay.
Yes.
40,000?
Yes. Then we have about 40 to 60,000 of pictures, photographs. Also, we have a quite big collection of audiovisual materials, maybe around the 1,000 articles. Then we would have our museum collection is roughly 4,000 pieces, artifacts, not including over 6,000 Easter egg collection.
Oh.
Yes, so this is like a special separate collection. But yeah, so then we have fine art collection, which contains roughly 1,000 pieces. And archives are around, I would say, 60 to 70 linear meters.
Oh.
Yes, but this is like just the materials, not the packaging and everything. And we are accepting on a regular basis donations from the public. So our collections are, increasing all the time. Also, we are almost all the time people are inquiring if they can donate books to Oseredok. So there is also always this, fluidity in terms of quantity of our collections and the volume, which is good. It's good that it's not just static and the identical collection that it was 30 years ago. So we always have these new additions which enrich our collection.
Yeah, for sure. And then I guess the other side of that is getting rid of the stuff that are duplicates and things like that over time.
Yes.
And deciding what doesn't need to be kept anymore and what should still be kept.
Yeah, so the accessioning is very delicate question. With time, some artifacts may become unrepairable, so no conservation method would help to restore their authenticity and integrity. So that can be another reason to the accession. But the accessioning in the heritage world is taken very seriously, and it requires a lot of steps and approvals, and a lot of research goes into there, deciding whether organizations should either rehome the object, because, for example, in some cases, we have some object that might have been a better fit for another museum. And maybe potentially at some point we will be rehoming some of our artifacts that just don't fall well under our mandate, but would be very good fit for another organization.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that definitely shines a light on a lot of the collections aspect of things that I didn't know about before. So I think that's all the questions I have for today. Was there anything else you wanted to add?
Oseredok is a very vibrant place, and many things are happening every week at Oseredok. For example, programming, lectures, workshops, exhibitions. My work is more connected with the back-end work that is rarely seen, but it's essential to preserve and maintain collections that we all cherish here. And yes, Oseredok is a unique place where it combines, it's a cultural hub together at the same time as a museum, library, gallery, and archive. And it combines, like a social aspect and the academic aspect. And that's the beauty of it, the mixture of both.